Yo, welcome back. I'm Claysthetics, and I found out recently that Unicorn Gundam is not only one of the coolest Gundams ever, it's also really overpowered, and I'm not even mad about it. But for real, though, it's not actually pay to win, because after playing it, I found out that it's actually pretty easy to counter it. It's just really funny to me that it's behind a paywall and that it can put in so much work. Literally every game, win or lose, I've gotten MVP. It's actually so dumb. But before we do get started, I want to thank you guys for all the love on the last few videos. I've been gaining a ton of subscribers, so if you're new, subscribe. I basically just upload every day that I can now, and I post all my updates in the Discord that's linked in the description down below. And before I forget, I'm doing a giveaway this week for one random subscriber that comments hashtag ZERKERGANG in their comment. And it was going to be for a battle pass, but I can't actually gift that, so it's going to be for 1,000 of the Gundam coins or whatever it is instead now, because it's basically just the same thing. So we're lighting this off with our big, beautiful, long, luscious horn of power. And the first time I saw this thick boy use the beam Magnum, I was weeping out. Let me just run the clip really quick. It gives me chills every time, bro. It's just so cool. Like the sound, everything. It just hits the mark in every way possible. It's just the best. So you better believe when I got on after the 500th maintenance, and I was so lucky to finally be able to buy it in a $50 package. I need help, man. But I've never seen a company make an event out of a cash shop being online before and not give a discount, but here we are, I guess. And I can't say I'm like disappointed or mad about it, but I really expected some kind of like server downtime compensation, like literally every other game on the planet, but we're addicted to Gundam, so this is what we get, I guess. But at least when I finally got to run this thing in game, it actually felt so clean. And even though it's like kind of squishy, it's almost mandatory for pushing now. The constant heal on your team just feels out of control. And Beam Magnum, bro. Let me tell you about Beam Magnum. The only problem with it is it doesn't really go through shields the best, so Saz and GM were a little annoying to deal with, but when you do get this ult off in like a good spot, it feels amazing. The sounds, the animations are actually everything that I wanted out of it, and it really immersed me, made me feel like I was playing the show, which was like more than I could have asked for. And every time I got to shoot Gun Tank, it was way more satisfying than stabbing him in the head. Well, almost as satisfying as stabbing him in the head. But a big drawback that I found was, as crazy as the ult is, you're still really squishy, so you have to pop your E or people just hard focus you out of it. This happens every time. So make sure you do that or you'll end up like me. And the E just basically gives you a fat shield over time, so it's really useful to pre-pop it before you peek corners. I was just blasting off on this thing, but I did notice that the E shield generation stops if you get hit while it's running. Sometimes, but not all the time. So if somebody can tell me about that, I couldn't really figure it out, and I would appreciate it, because like sometimes I'm getting gadded and it's fine, and sometimes it just stops. So I don't really know. But the other ability, the shield funnels, when you shoot it and it hits people and they go flying off the map, it's just great. Nothing is better than when a Barbatos like W keys you or an Eggsy is just like running in and you knock him back, and it just completely puts him in the dirt by just giving you that distance or just shooting them off of the edges. Like it's so satisfying. And I do know that a lot of you really hated Barbatos when I posted my tier list and guide about it. The feedback was really solid. Everybody was really nice, and everybody did agree with my tier list for the most part. You just all really hated Barbatos, and I can kind of understand why. He can be pretty oppressive, but at least he's easy to kite, so it isn't the worst to deal with as long as you just like put somebody on him. Like Zaku 2 Range, for instance, is really good at dealing with Barbatos, and that's something I've been playing more, and it's really pissing all the Barbatos players off. I didn't really have any problems with dealing with Barbatos on Unicorn when I was playing it earlier. Just every time he came at me, I just knocked him back and just right-clicked on his head and lasered him down. So after a couple games, I started realizing how fun the main gun was to actually use and how fast it actually generates your ultimate. And you can run and gun spraying or aim in, just melts everybody off the map. It actually feels kind of unfair compared to some of the other machine guns in the game at first, but only when your team has pressure. I really noticed when I was under pressure, the gun fell flat almost every single time, because for some reason the game has mouse acceleration turned on with no way to turn it off, like it's some sort of feature. Your brain would literally have to be a liquid for mouse acceleration to be a feature. It's so hard to aim. Like, I play CS a lot, so any kind of consistent aim that I could have is completely thrown out the window with this garbage. And there's no way to turn it off other than editing a game file, but they really just need to remove it altogether, because every time I restart my game, it edits the file back, and that's just stupid. So if you're going to play any of the shooting characters, like, get rid of mouse acceleration. Like, it's not fun at all. But if you do play Unicorn, especially when somebody's like W keying you, it's almost impossible to deal with them. So if you do end up playing Unicorn, just try to play it as like a mid support. It'll feel absolutely perfect. And you can frontline every time your E is up or whatever, but you're so squishy without it that you just can't, because everybody focuses you. So you do actually have to be super careful. But the games I was farming on this thing were absolutely disgusting. Like, just look at a few of these. Even the losses, I was MVP. And this MVP screen was my favorite. It baited me so hard. I thought the Mursai got it, but then I just popped his dome. How did he get MV? Oh. Hell yeah, dude. I've honestly never been so satisfied with an MVP before. That really was the icing on the cake for me, and part of the reason that I actually love this game. And I do really feel like they hit the mark with the Gundam Unicorn fantasy-wise, at least in my opinion. It's pretty much what I would have expected from it without just completely destroying and breaking the game. Because something like Barbatos's abilities feel kind of wonky. Like, you have a pile in the mace that you can, like, you know, like, it ejects out of it to, like, I mean, you've all seen it. So it's just, I don't know why you can't use that. It doesn't really make sense. And slamming the sword into the ground for the stun when I have a big mace also doesn't really make a lot of sense, but I'm pretty sure it's because of this scene right here, and it is honestly really cool. So, like, when I imagine that happening in game, it is kind of neat. But that's actually going to be a thumbnail for an upcoming video that's going to be extremely thematic, and I'm putting a ton of work into it. So I really hope you guys enjoy it when I finally get it done. But I do kind of hope you get what I'm saying when a character feels weird. Like Exia, for instance, when I had someone comment that they were disappointed there was like a beam rifle beneath the GN sword, and instead of using that, they have it using the thrown beam sword that was only used in emergencies. And I kind of get that the game had to make some changes to make everything like at least feel or like look unique. But a lot of the feedback I'm getting from the diehard fans is that they don't actually care, and they just want the Gundams to be more themed and cooler. And I kind of agree with that, but at the same time, I'm getting that out of Gundam Unicorn at the moment because, again, it does feel weird on Barbatos, as much as I love him, that you don't get to ever use the pile in the mace. Like, maybe that could be another ability or something. Like, I don't know. Anyways, that's enough ranting about that. And not having the voice actors is one thing that I'm probably going to bring up every time now, because, like, I want better voice acting in a Gundam game. Like, it just seems like something that should have been there by default. Like, the voice acting could be absolutely crazy in this game and would make it so much more fun. So I'm hoping any of the new Gundams they come out with are more thematic in that sense, and maybe have their pilot's voice, and just really help you feel immersed in the game, because then it's way more fun. So if you do actually want that feeling, I recommend playing as Unicorn, at least until this happens. Why does this happen so much?